Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the OJ Podcast. I'm Daniel Bagapore, and today we're interviewing my friend Lance Landeros. Lance is a personal friend of mine for many years. He's spent his career primarily in construction, and he's also an avid pool player. So without further ado, welcome to the stage, Lance Landeros.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me here. This is my very first time podcasting, so excuse me if I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to really try my best.
Dude, you're doing great. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, well, the first question I had for you, for our viewers, is can you tell us a little bit about your origin?
My origin. Okay. I was born in Santa Ana, Orange County, California, and there till I was 10, 11 years old or so. Moved to Corona, and all of my adolescent years there, junior high, high school, made a lot of lifelong friendships there.
Yeah.
And then shortly after high school, moved away and just continued to move around a lot of different places, cities, but still out in the Inland Empire and those areas. And my family was... we moved around a lot, not a lot of stability. I have 6 siblings, and I'm the second to the oldest. And so I have a lot of younger siblings.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how deep I'm going to dive into that, but
sure,
but it was quite interesting upbringing. There was not a lot of structure there.
Okay.
My parents kind of were surviving and doing their thing.
Yeah.
And just making their lives work.
Right.
And trying to get through, and that kind of left us kids to kind of fend for ourselves and do our thing. And so when it came to school structure, things like that, we kind of had free reign of ourselves. There was times when I left the house and I wouldn't come home for a whole weekend or weeks at a time, just hanging out with friends and spending the night and stuff. And I'd come strolling back into my house, and it was like not even...
nobody noticed.
Nobody even noticed.
Nobody missed you.
Nobody, when you've got a whole bunch of... I have twin sisters and other sisters. I mean, everybody was so close in age. And if you can imagine my mom trying to, corral everybody in and feed everybody and raise everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
It was, but by no means am I saying she didn't care? She had a lot of kids to take care of on her plate, and so that's just kind of the way I grew up, and that had consequences in my life, without that structure there, and without having somebody to kind of give me some guidelines and some rules to follow. So
right, but I imagine being, so you were second, right? Second oldest.
Second to the oldest.
So being second to the oldest in a family of 6 kids, now you're in a position where you manage others basically. That's your primary 90% of your time at the workplace, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so did any of that, upbringing with the kids, having to kind of look out for them? I don't know if you had to, or if you were more of like the absentee older brother who's like, hey, you guys do you.
Yeah, I was more like that.
Okay, you were more like that.
I was more like that because when my younger siblings, my older sister moved out of the house when she was 16.
Whoa.
Going on 17.
That's pretty young.
Yeah, and I'm 2 years younger than her. So here I am, 13 going on 14. And then I have my younger sister is 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
And then all of the rest of my siblings younger than her.
Oh, okay.
So when I turned 14, 15, that's where I started drifting away and dabbling with life, right, and the different, the shiny dealings of life, and trying to, this stuff that was kind of luring me in, the partying, the drugs, the the girls, other things that were just kind of, making me lose the focus that I should have had. And I should have been there for my sisters and my brother. I have one brother.
Wow.
And 5 sisters.
Wow.
So, but, it's amazing. It's amazing how life works and how things, just turn for the good eventually, but early on, not so much.
Not so much, huh?
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about the cultural background you had too, because so Landeros is a Latino last name.
Spanish, yeah, it's Spanish last name.
Okay.
My father is Spanish, and my grandfather is obviously Spanish as well, but from Spain.
Okay.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Dang.
Yeah, from Spain, and he, and my father too. If you ever got a chance to meet him, he's got really light eyes and stuff. Just that same look. And my mother is Italian. Yeah, she's Italian.
You're a good mix, like me.
Yeah. So,
that's cool.
The combination of the two. That's my origin, and but growing up around in Santa Ana with a lot of the Latin culture, that's kind of the way we grew up, with that heavy influence of that Latin culture.
So did you grow up going to mass?
No, we didn't do anything like that. My parents were not religious at all, if you'd want to call it that, religious,
Wow.
Catholic, Christian. As a matter of fact, my mother, they were products of the 70s. And the 70s, they had a lot of people who were free love, party lifestyle, that type of thinking, that mentality.
Okay. Yeah.
So them living that way, we didn't have that, structure, like I said before. But my mother was always searching and dabbling in spirituality.
Wow.
And so she did a lot of different things, where it wasn't necessarily Christianity, but it was like variations of it, where they would soul travel and they would, have masters, and, it's more like mysticism. And
wow, that's very, it sounds like mysticism, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what we grew up around and stuff. So I never really was introduced to it. Well, actually, no, that's not entirely true. I grew up right down the street from Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa.
No way.
Yeah, right down the street, right around the corner.
Yeah.
We lived in apartments that were right there. As a matter of fact, the bookstore was the Harvest bookstore. No, not Harvest. It was the Maranatha.
Okay.
Maranatha bookstore. We used to walk to it from our apartment place, and I was only 5 years old.
Dang.
Something like that, 6 years old, and I used to walk around the corner. And this was back when they just started. This is when they had the tent outside and all that.
Right.
And so we were right down the street, and so we had a lot of the hippies that were going to the church lived in our apartment place.
No way.
And so they would round up us kids. You couldn't do that today.
Oh yeah, today you get
you can't have all the neighborhood kids and invite them into your house.
Yeah.
You'd get arrested. But we did that. They would round us up, and they say, "Hey, we've got some push pops." You can't do that.
It sounds so wrong.
It sounds so wrong. Yeah.
You gave my kids push pops?
Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah. Hey, you want some candy, little boy?
You want some candy?
Yeah.
Hop in the truck.
Yeah.
Hop into Jesus, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Times are so different now.
Yeah. So we'd go to this house, and there would be a guy, and I can't make his face out, and I can't remember what he looked like entirely.
Yeah.
But I remember the message. He was doing felt boards and telling us the story of Jesus.
Whoa.
And letting us know how wonderful he is and what he did.
Yeah.
And why he's here. And I just remember at that young age, I remember it like this guy's good. Not the guy telling me the story, but Jesus.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. I just remember that impression I had in my heart, like, wow, this is great. And it happened again when I lived in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
When I was in the 3rd grade, we had some neighborhood, a family that would invite us kids over.
Right.
And we'd sit and, sing songs, and they'd give us popcorn, and they would tell us stories on the felt storyboard.
That's cool, man.
And again, I just remember it being larger than life, and how I had this love for Jesus, but I never knew who he was entirely.
Right.
But I just knew he was good.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my introduction. So I was living around the corner from Calvary Chapel, and that was my first introduction there. I'm babbling a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's good. I have to share some immature humor too. So for me, when I heard you say this guy's good, I was like, oh, that must have been some gnarly felt board work.
Yeah.
But it's I was like, yeah, no,
right.
He's like, no, Jesus was what stood out to me. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get those services that it feels like it's more about the speaker than it is about Jesus,
Yeah.
But it's that sounds like that person was just super humble and just like, hey kids, let me tell you about the hero, the main character of everybody's life.
Yeah.
And
the one thing, the lasting impression that I get is, since then I've become a believer, and God's in my heart working on me and in my life.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I look forward to, and especially as I get older and so forth, is someday hugging that man again.
Wow. Yeah.
Finding that man again, and
in
us
heaven.
Embracing in heaven.
Yeah. Being like, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because he had a role. He had a role in my life.
Right.
And he was planting those seeds as at the earliest portion of my life.
And how old were you? 5?
I was 5 years old. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
6.
when I was saved too, and I was 4.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's crazy that, and I had the same stuff, felt displays from the Bible,
Yeah.
What do they call flannelgrams? I think they
Yeah.
call it, or flannelgraph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flannelgraphs and graham crackers, not flannelgrams.
Two separate things entirely.
Yeah. But so that's awesome. So we're going to touch more on that. But that's really interesting to hear a little bit about your backstory, and then what got you into what you do now?
Well, what got me into it, one is to be specific, I am in construction, but it's a specialty.
Yeah.
Construction. I do plaster work.
Right.
So that's on the exterior of houses, lath, which is paper, chicken wire, and then the plaster portion, which is the cement, and then the color of houses. We put the color on houses, buildings, anything. So all that you see, if you go drive by all your neighbors' houses and you see the different colors, a plaster did that.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's what we do. But we do it in a large scale. We do new construction primarily. We work for big builders.
Yeah.
Just big companies. And and my father was a plasterer.
Okay.
My grandfather was a plasterer.
Wow.
I have cousins and uncles who are plasterers. So we come from a long line of plasterers.
Spanish plasterers.
Yeah, in our family.
Yeah, how cool is that?
So that's kind of how I got into it. I was always working with my father on the summers, and when he had jobs and he would need a helping hand, he would say, "Hey, I want you to come help me this weekend." "Oh, come on, Dad, I don't want to go. Yeah. So I would complain and everything, but I'd go out there and I'd help him, and I'd be learning some of the things, and then and I did that for since I was young, just 10, 11, 12, all the way growing up, and just helping what I could. And there was a time when I was real young like that, 9, 10 years old. I was always on the job site, but I would just go around and I would I'd collect aluminum, and I would strip wire, copper wire, and I would turn it all in at the end of the day and make $5, $6.
What a resourceful 10-year-old, man.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a 10-year-old today who is stripping aluminum.
Yeah. So I used to do that and turn it in, and I'd have a few bucks, and go buy Snickers bar,
That's cool.
soda or
That's
something.
Cool, man.
And then as soon as I graduated high school, I started plastering.
Wow.
That summer.
Yeah.
And just grew into that. And there's a few things in my life that had transpired that got me to the point where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
I have about 120 employees that
crazy.
Work for me.
That's so many people.
Yeah, and it wasn't an easy journey. It was tough.
Yeah.
But it was definitely God directed.
Okay.
And God had His hand in that. And so that's what got me into the plastering.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, and then I'm an avid pool player. I love playing pool.
Yeah.
That is like my primary passion.
Yeah.
I have other passions, but not to the degree of pool.
Okay.
I really dove into it, and so maybe at another time I can get into the fact that I used to be a popper and breaker, and back in the '80s, and popping and breaking and dancing and
breakdancing,
street dancing. Yeah,
dude, I was like in the pool context. I was like, what's a popper?
Yeah.
Like the person who break. Like,
yeah.
No, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
you were
I
a
used to do
breakdancer.
it. Oh yeah, you can find videos on YouTube of me and stuff. We still know.
Dude, we're gonna find a video. That's gonna be linked in the description. We are gonna find that video and put it in.
Yeah, and so we can get into that, and that was really good. Wow. And as a matter of fact, that instilled a lot of the determination and the ability to succeed, because I wasn't just good. I was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would battle guys that were, in movies, like those that level.
No way.
And I was a part of the California crew that there was like over 350 people that tried out for this production company.
Yeah.
And only 4 people made it. I was one of the 4. And we traveled everywhere. We traveled up and down, and we do different shows, and we would do, like weightlifting competitions. We were the entertainment. And we would, we do like video shoots and different things. It was really fun.
So cool.
So that was a whole different part of my life.
Wow.
But it instilled something in me. It instilled the fact that if I worked hard at something, if I really want something, there's nothing that can stop me.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is going to be a barrier except for me.
Right.
Yeah. And same thing with me rapping. I used to rap too.
No way.
Yeah, I used to rap. And I was really good at it.
Dude.
I was really good at it. And I had a lot of local notoriety. Yeah. And I was starting to get some really, getting on flyers and doing this and starting to, and I firmly believe that, because back in those days, I used to have these dreams that I was at the very top and, doing these things.
Right.
And this was back in the 80s. This is early. This is even before gangster rap. Yeah. That's how early this was when I used to rap.
I'm curious to do some research and even see what it sounded like.
And so that, but all that instilled so much in me that I used later on in my life. So when I started my business, and I would never take no for an answer, and I would never stop working, and I would never stop pushing to get where I wanted to get and where I needed to go. Right. And that was because of these early lessons and things I've learned in my life.
That's so cool.
And so, but back to pool. Pool, another one of those things where I'm on the climb right now. Okay. I'm probably better than most players, most of your average players. Yeah. I'm better at than them. But there is always somebody better. Right. There's always somebody better. Yeah. And so I'm trying to get to that level. Like if you take a professional pool player, like the top, right? They're like an A++ player. That's what they call. They do grade them. They do grade like an A+ player. Okay. Then you have A players, A- players, B+ players, B players, B-, and so on and so forth. Yeah. I'm probably a C+ player to a B- player. Okay. If that says
Yeah.
Anything.
Okay.
But it's hard to get there. It's hard to get to that level.
Wow.
You know, like I can break on a rack.
Okay.
And I can run the rack out. Make all my shots.
Yeah, never give them a chance to.
Never even give you a chance to get onto the table.
Dang, dude, those A++ players must be insane. Because to me, like a C+ player, honestly, no offense, but it sounds like, Yeah. I was a C+ student.
Yeah.
I know what C+ gets you.
Right, but that's how tough it is, and that's how different it is. Because crazy. Being able to incorporate all of the major components of playing pool, like offense, defense, the breaking,
right,
pattern play, how you run and where you go for your next shot, and then handling the mental stress and the pressure.
Right.
So all of it together is tough, and that's what makes you fall or go up and down on that scale.
Right.
And so, yes, I can run it out like that, but can I do that 4 or 5 times in a row? No.
Okay.
Pros.
That's what the pros can. Dude, so you can't give them a chance, huh?
No. Because that's why for them, like for us, if we play here, anywhere, in a tournament, whatever, even great players, the break, if you're breaking and you don't make a ball and the other guy gets a chance to shoot, you just keep playing.
Yeah.
Pros,
you may never get a chance.
They break and they've mastered it so much. They break and they will make a ball, and you probably won't get to the table. Dude. And if you do get to the table, it's going to be tough because they put you in a really bad spot, so you can't shoot again. Dude, so insane. It's really, really intricate and how it all lays out. Yeah. But I'd probably say maybe I'm a B- player.
Wow.
Yeah.
And who are these A++ players? Are they guys who like billionaires who have all the free time in the world? They just play pool all the time?
They do just play pool all the time. Okay. And they travel and they play pool, but these are pros.
But do any of them come from the ranks of like people like us?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dude.
Yeah. Cool. That's another thing I do. I have a pool promotion. Yeah. I do promoting of pool, and I have a promotion, and I sponsor players. I'm not doing it now. Okay. Because money got tight because I needed to. I'm restoring a Cadillac. I have
money's tight, guys. I got to restore a Cadillac.
Yeah, exactly. So the work slowed down a little bit, and so it got tight. Yeah. And I just didn't have that kind of money to throw around or to give away, because that's really what it really is. Yeah. I would sponsor players, and what I would do is I would pay for them to go and
play,
to travel. Yeah. Wow. So you
that's buy a lot of money.
Yeah, you buy their plane tickets, you buy their their hotel stay, food and everything. But when if they enter in the tournament, and if they win, we split 50-50.
Oh, that's good, bro.
Yeah, it is when you win.
Yeah.
But when you lose, you're out $3,000-$4,000, and that's just not returned.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough.
So you kind of want to sponsor people who have promise.
Yeah, exactly. The best of the best. And I used to sponsor like maybe 5 different pros.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool.
And it was fun. It's fun, and it's nice because I travel. I go to Vegas and go to competitions, and I've met a lot of people, and a lot of people in the pool world.
Dude, that's so cool.
Know me as the representative of my promotion, and because I had the number 3 player in the world. What? At one point.
You sponsored him?
I sponsored the number 3 player and the number 8 player in the world, and a couple other guys that were really, really high up there. So wow, it was nice. It was fun. It was great. And like I said, I probably will do it again someday, but right now is just not the time. It's time to finish my Cadillac.
Yeah. Get that Cadillac finished.
Yeah.
You can enjoy that. Well, I guess you can play pool into your elder years too, though, right?
Oh yeah. I play against some guys that are, in their 70s, man. They're still putting it on me, man.
So you picked good hobbies. You can be driving your Cadillac even into your 90s. Yeah. Hopefully, as long as the cops don't catch you for bad vision or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can be playing pool. Yeah. Driving in your Cadillac to your pool destination, where you'll be sponsoring guys too. Yeah. Probably.
Another passion of mine is golf. I love golfing.
Okay.
So, but it's not. It kind of got pushed to a back burner.
Okay.
With the pool.
Yeah. Well, you can't do everything, right?
Right.
Yeah, or well anyway.
Right.
That's cool. Well, yeah, that's really interesting. So from going to, growing up in kind of like some chaotic situations, starting your business, and then getting into pool, what would you say? I would like to hear a little bit more about that business startup for those people out there who are trying to get, like, say they're like, hey, I want to be the Lance Landeros of my town, right? I want to be able to create a business that's not only sustaining me and my family, but I can even employ others and be a blessing, be a benefit to the community.
Yeah.
And even have some downtime and some fun money.
Yeah.
Right? What's the recipe for, like, Joe Schmo who just graduated high school and is like, he's like, I got to get a job, I got to start a business, and I don't really know how to do that.
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to find something something you know something about.
Something you know.
Yeah, you have to know about it. You have to know the intricacies. You can't be caught by surprise. In other words, like I can love doing any type of construction.
Yeah.
But I know plastering.
Yeah.
I know everything about plastering. I know about, fasteners, nailing schedules, dry times, cure times, everything about it. So it made moving in that direction, It made sense.
Yeah.
For me to dive into that and go into that direction,
right,
because I know about it. So first and foremost, know what you're talking about, know what you're getting into.
Okay.
And once you do that, and if you have a love for it and a passion for it, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's not work, it's just doing something that you love. I mean, that's kind of cliche that but at the same, but it's true.
Yeah.
You can, I grew up plastering and I always wanted to avoid plastering. And then I got to a point where, no, this is what I'm doing. And I embraced it.
Yeah.
I embraced it. So my advice is, first and foremost, know about it. And secondly, from my personal experience, is you could have all of the knowledge in the world about something. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but unless you go after it, unless you really have the tenacity to go after it, like I said, like I was telling you earlier, in my experience, I learned these things in my life where I would never take no for an answer.
Right.
So it was important that I instilled that in my business life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any obstacle in my way, I just didn't even recognize it. It didn't even.
You're kind of like oblivious
To it.
Hey, I'm going to make it over that mountain.
Right.
I don't care if nobody else has, I'm going to make it over that mountain.
Right. That's kind of the way, that was my thinking always, and it always has been that way. And so no matter how many hours I needed to put into something, no matter how much, something had detoured me or didn't quite pan out the way I wanted it to. Yeah. I found a way. I made a way through it. Yeah. So that tenacity, you got to have that. You can't expect things to happen for you. Right. You have to make them happen. Yep. So that would be like the major ingredient. Takeaways, yeah, the major ingredient. Know what you're doing. Yeah, know what you're doing and have the tenacity and determination to get where you want to go. Right. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, because and it doesn't matter what you dive into, per se, as long as you have that will to get there. Okay. Yeah.
So that's some words of wisdom for you guys.
Yeah.
And we're getting close to time, but last question I had for you before we wrap. We already got to share about the role God played in your life, which I think that was good. If you want to share any more, please feel free to do so. But I also wanted to ask you, what would you say is your purpose? If you were to summarize your life in one thought or idea, like what is it that Lance Landeros wakes up for every morning?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. Because I haven't always been the perfect representation of a Christian man.
Mm.
You know, I've fallen away.
Sure.
And God in his grace was always there with open arms.
Yeah.
And loving to take me back, to restore me, to set my feet back on solid ground.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. So, you know, wow. That's a great question.
And maybe we'll need to ask that in another episode. Maybe today's not the day.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Mr. Lance Landeros is a multifaceted personality.
Yeah, you know, like I said, you know, with the business, the popping and breaking, the rapping, all kinds of different things that I've always seemed to excel at and seem to do well at.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm trying to do that in my whole pool career.
Yeah.
But, you know, we didn't even dive into, you know, my family life and my wife and children and stuff like that.
Right.
But
I'm sure that is one of the things you're like, oh man, this gets me motivated.
Right, it does. But to quickly answer your question, like, what is, you know, Lance about? What is that thing? I would have to say that it's not. I guess it's part of that tenacity and that never give up attitude.
Yeah.
That same thing that's always been there in my life.
Yeah.
I have that too with God.
Yeah.
And he knows me, and you know, and I run to him, and we, you know, we tabernacle.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude. That's cool. That sounds like a word from the hippie movement. From the Greg Laurie days.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. Well, thank you so much for coming, Lance.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
This is fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, this was Lance Landeros with the OJ Podcast.